The stars looked different from the observation deck of the USS Intrepid. Captain Ethan Wright stood with his hands clasped behind his back, his eyes fixed on the vast emptiness of space. 50 years of human expansion throughout the solar system had changed humanity. They were no longer confined to Earth. Now colonies thrived on Mars, mining operations dotted the asteroid belt, and research stations orbited the outer planets. "Captain, you need to see this," said Lieutenant Olivia Martinez, her voice tight with tension. She handed him a data pad showing unusual energy readings at the edge of the solar system. "Get Admiral Pearson on the line," Wright ordered, "and call Dr. Collins to the bridge." Within an hour, the USS Intrepid's command center buzzed with activity. Admiral Frank Pearson's face filled the main screen, his expression grave. "The objects are slowing down, sir," Martinez reported. "They're not asteroids or any natural phenomenon we've ever recorded." Dr. Maya Collins rushed onto the bridge, her dark hair pulled back in a hasty ponytail. As Earth's leading xenobiologist and first contact specialist, she had trained for this moment her entire career. Yet nothing could truly prepare humanity for what was about to happen. 7 vessels, Martinez continued. Massive ones, larger than anything we've ever built. "They're not hiding," Wright noted. "They want to be seen." The alien ships glided into the solar system with impossible grace for their size. They positioned themselves in a formation that could not be mistaken for anything but deliberate. A message to humanity. We are here, we are organized, and we are powerful. When the communication came, it was in perfect English. People of Earth. And its colonies, we are the Galactic Hegemony, a peaceful coalition of 7 advanced species. We come with greetings and an offer of friendship. The message played across every communication device in the solar system. The voice was pleasant, almost musical. Admiral Pearson convened an emergency meeting of Earth's United Defense Command. Representatives from every major colony joined via secure channels. "I don't trust them," said General William Foster bluntly. "No one travels this far just to say hello." Dr. Collins studied the visual recordings of the alien representatives. "Their biology is fascinating," she said. "Humanoid, but clearly evolved under different conditions. The one calling himself Zaxvor shows subtle physical signs that don't match his friendly words." "Meaning?" asked Pearson. "He's lying," Collins said simply. "Or at least, not telling the whole truth." Captain Wright frowned. "Why would an advanced civilization need anything from us?" The question hung in the air unanswered. The first meeting took place on neutral ground, an orbital platform between Earth and Mars. Captain Wright stood beside Dr. Collins as Earth's welcoming committee. The alien ship docked with precision that spoke of advanced technology. Zaxvor emerged first, tall and slender with pale blue skin that seemed to shimmer under the lights. His 4 eyes blinked in sequence rather than together. Behind him came 2 others of different species, one with scaled skin and another that seemed almost crystalline in structure. "Captain Wright," Zaxvor said, extending a 3-fingered hand. "We are pleased to meet humanity face to face." Wright shook the offered hand. "Welcome to the Sol system." The diplomatic exchange was polite but guarded. The alien spoke of trade, cultural exchange, and technological sharing. They mentioned their hegemony's long history of bringing less developed civilizations into their fold. Later, in private, Dr. Collins shared her observations with Wright and Admiral Pearson. "They're scanning everything," she said. "Their eyes move differently than ours, but I could tell they were assessing our weapons, our technology, even our physical capabilities." "Did you notice how they dismissed our fusion drives?" Wright added. "As if they were amused by children's toys." Over the next weeks, more hegemony ships arrived. They requested permission to visit Earth and the colonies. They spoke of friendship, but positioned their vessels near major defense installations. Admiral Pearson grew increasingly concerned. "They're mapping our defenses," he told the United Defense Command. "I'm ordering covert military preparations, nothing aggressive, but I want us ready." The breaking point came during a diplomatic dinner aboard the USS Intrepid. Zaxvor, slightly affected by Earth wine, spoke more freely than before. Your civilization has such potential, he said to Dr. Collins. Under proper guidance, humans could become a valuable member of the hegemony within just a few generations. And what exactly does membership entail? She asked carefully. Protection, direction, purpose. Zaxvor smiled, showing teeth too perfect to be natural, in exchange for reasonable access to your resources, of course, and acceptance of hegemony governance in certain matters. Dr. Collins maintained her professional smile, but her eyes met Captain Wright's across the room. The message was clear. Their suspicions were confirmed. That night, Admiral Pearson received a transmission from one of their deep space intelligence operatives. The agent had infiltrated hegemony communications and discovered disturbing information. 12 other species had been welcomed into the hegemony over the past century. None remained truly independent. They call it gentle acquisition, the agent reported. First comes diplomatic pressure, then economic dependence, and finally military occupation if necessary. But it always ends the same, with complete subjugation. The next morning, Earth's representatives delayed signing any agreements, citing the need for further study. The hegemony ambassadors maintained their pleasant demeanor, but something cold entered their eyes. As Zaxvor returned to his ship, he activated a private communication channel to his superiors. The humans are proving slightly more cautious than anticipated, he reported, but they remain docile and technologically inferior. Their defenses are primitive, their weapons laughable. The largest colony has fewer than 50,000 inhabitants. The voice that responded was deep and resonant. Is acquisition still recommended? Absolutely, Zaxvor replied. This system is rich in resources, and the humans will make adequate workers. Their resistance would be insignificant. Earth will be a simple acquisition. Proceed as planned, then. Captain Wright stood again at the observation window of the USS Intrepid, watching the hegemony ships in orbit around Earth. He didn't know what the aliens were saying to each other, but he knew what humanity's answer would be. They had faced challenges before, disease, war, climate disaster, and had survived. They would face this challenge too. Captain, Lieutenant Martinez called from behind him. Admiral Pearson has issued alert status for all ships and colonies. We're to prepare for possible hostile action. Wright nodded without turning. Send word to Luna Base. Tell Dr. Carter to activate Project Harbinger. Yes, sir, Martinez replied. Do you think they'll really attack us? Now Wright did turn, his face resolute in the dim light of the bridge. They think we're weak, Lieutenant. Throughout human history, that's always been a dangerous mistake. 3 months passed since first contact with the galactic hegemony. The tension grew with each passing day. On Earth's moon, inside the heavily guarded Luna base, Dr. Sam Carter worked without rest. His laboratory was filled with strange equipment, half human technology, half something else entirely. How much longer? Asked Admiral Pearson, who had come personally to check on the progress. Dr. Carter looked up from his work, dark circles under his eyes. 2 more days, maybe 3. We might not have that long, Pearson said quietly. On the other side of the moon, Lieutenant Olivia Martinez studied tactical displays aboard the USS Intrepid. The hegemony ships had changed their positions again. They were now arranged in what she recognized as an attack formation. Captain Wright, she called. They're moving again. Captain Ethan Wright joined her at the display. They're done waiting, he said. Inform all ships and colonies to prepare for possible engagement. In orbit above Earth, Zaxvor met with the other hegemony representatives. The humans have delayed long enough, he said. They refuse our generous offers of protection. The Supreme Council has authorized acquisition by force. Krelthaz, the military strategist, nodded in agreement. His reptilian skin gleamed under the artificial lights. Our analysis shows their military capability is minimal. Their ships are slow and poorly armed. Their weapons use primitive projectiles and basic energy systems. How quickly can we secure the planet? Asked another representative. With surgical strikes at their major military installations, resistance should collapse within hours, Krelthaz replied. Total control within days. On Earth, Dr. Maya Collins rushed into the United Defense Command headquarters. She had been analyzing communications between hegemony ships. "They're going to attack," she announced to the room of military leaders. "Tomorrow, maybe sooner." General William Foster stood up. "All defensive measures are in place. We're as ready as we can." Admiral Pearson looked grim. "Let's hope Dr. Carter's project works as planned." The attack came at dawn. Hegemony ships descended on Earth's orbital defense platforms with weapons that seemed to bend light itself. The first platform exploded in a ball of fire visible from the planet's surface. "All ships engage according to plan," ordered Captain Wright from the USS Intrepid. "Do not deviate from assigned targets." The human fleet moved into position, seemingly outmatched by the alien vessels. The hegemony commanders watched with something like pity as the human ships approached. "How predictable," said Krell Thawes. "They form a direct defensive line, just as species always do in their first interstellar conflict." Then something unexpected happened. As the hegemony weapons locked onto the human vessels, the ships split apart in a maneuver that seemed impossible. For their size, what looked like single ships were actually clusters of smaller craft, moving with perfect coordination. "What is this?" demanded Krell Thawes, as his targeting system struggled to adjust. On Luna Base, Dr. Carter activated Project Harbinger. The device was built from technology recovered decades ago from an alien crash site that had been kept secret from the public. It sent out a pulse that washed over the solar system like an invisible tide. Aboard the hegemony ships, systems flickered. Their advanced shields weakened for just 30 seconds, but it was enough. Lieutenant Martinez watched her tactical display with fierce concentration. "Shield disruption confirmed. All ships, fire now." Human vessels fired weapons that were far more advanced than the hegemony had believed possible. The primitive projectiles contained cores of exotic materials that pierced the weakened alien shields. 3 hegemony vessels suffered critical damage in the first exchange. The others pulled back, regrouping in shock. "Impossible," Krell Thawes sputtered. "Their technology cannot be this advanced." Zaxvor's face hardened. "We underestimated them. But we still have superior numbers and firepower. Launch the second wave." The battle raged across Earth's orbit. Human casualties were heavy, but the aliens found themselves in a fight they hadn't expected. Commander Alex Ramsey led a team of special forces in ships too small to track properly. They slipped through the chaos of battle and attached themselves to the hull of a hegemony vessel. "Cutting through now," Ramsey reported, as his team burned through the alien ship's outer skin. The human soldiers fought their way to the bridge. The hegemony crew, unused to direct combat, fell quickly. Within 20 minutes, Ramsey's team had control of the ship. "Vessel secured," he reported to Captain Wright. "We're downloading their systems now." The hegemony commanders, realizing what had happened, ordered an immediate retreat. Their remaining ships pulled back to the edge of the solar system. In the aftermath, Admiral Pearson met with Earth's leaders. The mood was somber, despite their unexpected success. "We won this battle," Pearson said, "but their full fleet will return. This was just a small force." "How did we do it?" asked one of the civilian leaders. "How did we stand against their technology?" Dr. Collins stepped forward. "2 reasons. First, we had Dr. Carter's work with the alien technology we recovered 30 years ago from that crash in the Pacific. We've been studying it in secret, preparing for this possibility." "And second?" asked another leader. "They don't understand how we fight," said Captain Wright. "They expected us to follow standard military doctrine as they know it, but humans have fought each other for thousands of years. We've developed strategies they've never seen before." On the captured hegemony ship, Lieutenant Martinez found something interesting in their communications. "They're confused," she told Wright. "Listen to this." The recording played Krell Thawes' voice speaking to what must be his superiors. "These humans don't fight like a civilization that's never faced interstellar war. They fight like they've been waiting for us." In the days that followed, Dr. Carter and his team worked continuously to understand the captured hegemony technology. The Special Forces teams trained to operate the alien vessel. Earth prepared for the bigger battle that everyone knew was coming. "We need to be ready," Admiral Pearson, told his commanders. The next time they won't underestimate us. On the main hegemony ship at the edge of the solar system, Krel'Thas studied the battle recordings with growing concern. These humans were not like other species the hegemony had conquered. They adapted quickly, fought fiercely, and seemed to understand warfare on a level that should have been impossible for their development stage. We need reinforcements, he told Zaxivor. Not just ships, but our best warriors. Zaxivor nodded slowly. The Supreme Council has already dispatched the Third Fleet. They will arrive in 8 Earth days. Will it be enough? Krel'Thas wondered, more to himself than to his companion. Neither of them said what both were thinking. For the first time in the hegemony's long history of conquest, there was doubt. 8 days passed quickly. Earth used every minute to prepare. In cities across the planet, civilians moved into underground shelters. On the Moon and Mars, colonies went into lockdown. The captured alien ship provided valuable information, but not enough time to fully understand hegemony technology. Jack Nelson was just a mining engineer before the invasion. Now he stood in a workshop filled with equipment that had been built for digging ore, not fighting wars. This might actually work, he muttered as he made final adjustments to what had once been a drilling machine. The device now housed parts from 3 different mining tools, plus components that hadn't existed until Jack designed them last week. A military officer watched from the doorway. We need 50 more by tomorrow. Jack wiped sweat from his forehead. You'll have them. All across Earth, people like Jack adapted everyday tools into weapons of war. Fishing boats carried sensors. Farm equipment was rebuilt into anti-aircraft. Guns. This was not how the hegemony expected war to work. In a secure facility beneath Denver, Dr. Laura Wilson interviewed the few hegemony crew members who had been captured alive. As a psychologist, she sought to understand how they thought. Your species fight strangely, said Vex Mara, a captured hegemony captain with skin like polished copper. You don't follow proper battle formations. What would proper formations, asked Dr. Wilson. Direct engagement, honorable confrontation of forces, replied Vex Mara. Not this. Scattering and hiding and striking from shadows. Dr. Wilson made notes. The aliens had no concept of guerrilla warfare. This was valuable information. When the Third Fleet arrived, it came with overwhelming force. Over 100 hegemony ships filled Earth's skies. Their message was simple: surrender or be destroyed. Earth's answer came in the form of General William Foster activating the planet's new defense network. Thousands of small unmanned drones launched from hidden locations. They weren't powerful enough to destroy the alien ships, but they confused hegemony sensors and targeting systems. Begin the invasion, ordered the hegemony commander. Secure their major cities and government centers. Alien troops landed in New York, Beijing, London, Moscow, and 20 other major cities. They expected to find panicked humans surrendering in the streets. Instead, they found empty buildings and deadly traps. In New York, Commander Alex Ramsey led a resistance group that struck at alien patrols and then disappeared into underground tunnels before reinforcements arrived. They don't understand urban warfare, Ramsey told his team. They expect us to gather in large groups and fight in the open. On the USS Intrepid, now hidden in the asteroid belt, Captain Wright received reports from Earth. The enemy is growing frustrated, Lieutenant Martinez said. They can't hold any territory for long. Admiral Pearson nodded. And their ships? Maintaining orbit above major cities, Martinez replied. But our ground-based weapons are keeping them from using their main guns. They can't bombard us without getting close, and getting close puts them at risk. In his lab on Luna Base, Dr. Carter made a breakthrough. The captured ship's drive system, he explained to a group of engineers. We can modify it to produce a localized disruption field. It won't destroy their ships, but it will disable their weapons temporarily. How many can we build? Asked one of the engineers. With Earth's manufacturing capacity. Dozens, at least, Carter replied. The war spread across the solar system. Hegemony forces attacked Mars colonies and mining operations in the asteroid belt. But everywhere they went, they found humans who fought not like soldiers but like survivors. with creativity, desperation, and unexpected tactics. Jack Nelson's modified mining equipment proved devastatingly effective against hegemony ground forces. The devices tunneled beneath alien positions and detonated, collapsing the ground under their feet. They fight with mining tools, a hegemony commander reported in disbelief. They turn children's toys into explosive devices. They have no honor. Dr. Wilson continued her interviews with captured aliens. Your species seems surprised by our resistance, she said to Vexamara. The alien captain had grown thinner during captivity. Your world should have fallen within days. This is not how conquest works. How does it usually work? Wilson asked. We demonstrate superior force. The inferior species recognizes this superiority and submits, Vexamara explained. It is logical. It is efficient. Humans don't think that way, Wilson told her. In our history, even greatly outmatched forces have fought to the last person. Vexamara's 4 eyes blinked in sequence. This is not rational. In orbit around Earth, a new hegemony command ship arrived. Grand Strategist Zultar had personally come to oversee the conquest that was taking far too long. Explain this failure, he demanded of Krel'Thas. The humans do not behave as our studies predicted, Krel'Thas replied. They fight without proper military doctrine. They sacrifice strategic positions to set traps. They use primitive technology, in ways we never considered. They are savages, Zultar said dismissively. Increase our forces. Destroy their cities if necessary. But the hegemony was learning a painful lesson about humanity. Destroying a city did not break human resolve. It strengthened it. Each attack only increased Earth's determination to fight back. In his private quarters, Vexamara kept a journal of his observations of humans. He wrote, "They lose battles but fight harder. They lose cities but don't surrender. What kind of evolution produces such tenacity?" 3 months into the full invasion, the hegemony controlled less territory than they had after the first week. Their casualties mounted, their supply lines stretched thin. On Luna Base, Dr. Carter's team completed the first batch of disruption field generators. Earth's remaining ships were equipped with the devices, as were the captured hegemony vessels that human crews had learned to pilot. We're ready for a counterattack, Admiral Pearson told Earth's unified command. For the first time, we can take the fight to them. Captain Wright studied the battle plans. This is risky. If we commit our reserves and fail, we won't fail, said Lieutenant Martinez with fierce certainty. We've studied their tactics for months. They're predictable. They don't adapt. The counterattack began at dawn. Earth forces struck hegemony fleet positions with perfect coordination. The disruption fields worked even better than expected, leaving alien ships defenseless for crucial minutes. Commander Ramsey led boarding parties onto 3 hegemony command ships. The aliens fought bravely, but were unprepared for close combat, with humans who had been fighting for their homes for months. By day's end, 7 major hegemony vessels had been captured or destroyed. The rest retreated to higher orbits beyond the range of Earth's new weapons. In his command center, Grand Strategist Zultar faced a situation his species had never encountered in thousands of years of conquest. We are losing, he said simply, to his officers. Against a species that only recently achieved space travel. What shall we do? Asked Krel'Thas. Zultar's answer was cold. Request permission from the Supreme Council to use extinction-level weapons. These humans are too dangerous to be allowed to exist. News of the hegemony's request for extinction-level weapons reached Earth through an unlikely source. A small hegemony scout ship approached the USS Intrepid with shields down and weapons offline. They're broadcasting on all frequencies, Lieutenant Martinez reported to Captain Wright. It's a warning. The message came from a junior officer aboard Zultar's command ship. The alien, calling itself Nexval, had witnessed the request for planet-killing weapons and could not stand by while an entire species was wiped out. Captain Wright immediately relayed the information to Admiral Pearson and Earth's unified command. They had days, perhaps hours, before the Supreme Council's response. We need to strike now, General Foster urged, before these weapons arrive. In the war room beneath what remained of Washington, D.C., Director Patricia Kelly of Earth's Intelligence Division presented a daring plan. "We've identified the hegemony's main communication relay in this sector," she said, pointing to a location on a star map. "If we can capture it intact, we can intercept their commands and feed them false information." Major Daniel Green, who had distinguished himself in the recent counterattacks, volunteered to lead the mission. "My team can do this," he said confidently. "We've studied their ship designs. We know how to move undetected." Chief Engineer Ryan Cooper had been working with Dr. Carter to adapt hegemony technology for human use. "We've modified 3 of their smaller vessels," he explained. "They'll read as hegemony ships on their sensors." The mission launched within hours. Major Green and his team, disguised in hegemony environmental suits taken from captured ships, approached the relay station in stolen vessels. "Remember," Green told his soldiers, "minimal casualties. We need their systems intact, and we need prisoners who can tell us how to use them." The relay station orbited a small moon at the edge of the solar system. It was lightly defended, as the hegemony never expected humans to venture so far from Earth. When Green's ships requested emergency docking claiming damage from human weapons, the station granted immediate access. The battle was brief but intense. Green's team secured the control center within 20 minutes, suffering only 3 wounded. The hegemony crew, surprised by the attack, surrendered quickly. "Begin the operation," Green ordered once the station was secure. Earth's best computer, experts working remotely through the captured systems, began the complex task of infiltrating the hegemony's command network. Director Kelly personally oversaw the operation from Earth. "Plant contradictory orders," she instructed. "Make it look like their own commanders are fighting among themselves." Back on Earth, Admiral Pearson gathered the military leaders for the next phase of their plan. "While the hegemony is confused by contradictory orders, we launch our main offensive. Every ship we have, every weapon we've developed." Captain Wright nodded grimly. "And the captured hegemony vessels?" "They'll lead the attack," Pearson replied. "The enemy won't know they're facing their own ships until it's too late." In his workshop, Jack Nelson put finishing touches on his latest creation. What had once been mining equipment was now a device that could disrupt the gravitational field of a hegemony ship, causing its own mass to tear it apart from within. "That's the last one," he told the waiting transport crew. "Handle it carefully. One wrong move and it could take out half a city block." Dr. Laura Wilson continued her work with the hegemony prisoners. Through months of interviews, she had developed a detailed understanding of their psychology. "Their society has no concept of defeat," she explained to General Foster. "They've been the dominant force for so long that the idea of losing is literally unthinkable to them. We can use this against them." Foster looked interested. "How?" "Psychological warfare," Wilson replied. "We broadcast images of their destroyed ships, their defeated forces. We show them losing, over and over. It will break their morale faster than any weapon." In orbit around Earth, Zultar received the Supreme Council's response to his request. Permission for extinction weapons was granted. The weapons would arrive with the 4th Fleet in 2 Earth days. But then strange orders began arriving. 1. Command told him to withdraw his forces to the edge of the system. Another ordered an immediate all-out attack on Earth's moon. A third demanded he divert ships to a different sector entirely. "What is happening?" he demanded of his communications officer. "The orders all carry proper authentication," the officer replied, confused. "Perhaps there is disagreement within the council?" Zultar faced a dilemma. Ignoring orders from the Supreme Council was unthinkable, but which orders should he follow? As the hegemony command structure fell into confusion, Earth launched its offensive. Every ship humanity could muster, led by the captured alien vessels, struck at the scattered hegemony fleet. Major Green, still at the relay station, directed false retreat orders to key hegemony battle groups. "The humans have unknown weapons," he broadcast on their command frequency. "Fall back to secondary positions." The battle unfolded across the solar system. Earth ships, though fewer in number, struck with precision and coordination. The disruption fields developed by Dr. Carter disabled hegemony weapons at crucial moments. Jack Nelson's gravity disruptors caused 3 massive hegemony carriers to implode. On the main hegemony command ship, Zultar watched in growing horror as his fleet was systematically dismantled. "This cannot be happening," he said to Krel'Thas. "They are primitive, they are inferior." "Evidently not," Krel'Thas replied, watching as another of their ships was captured by human forces. Within hours, the tide had turned decisively. Half the hegemony fleet was destroyed or captured. The rest retreated beyond Mars, trying to regroup and understand what had happened. Using the captured relay station, Major Green intercepted communications between Zultar and the Supreme Council. The news stunned even the hardened soldier. "Earth Command," Green reported urgently. "The hegemony is reporting rebellion in 3 other conquered systems. Species they've controlled for generations are rising up after hearing about our resistance." Admiral Pearson shared this news with Earth's leaders. "This is our opportunity," he said, "not just to defend our system, but to free others who have suffered under hegemony rule." Captain Wright studied the star charts showing hegemony territory. "If we can capture more of their ships, learn to use their FTL technology, we can take the fight beyond our solar system," Pearson finished. "For the first time in history, humanity will venture to other stars." Chief Engineer Cooper, who had mastered more hegemony technology than anyone, spoke up. "We've nearly completed reverse engineering their faster-than-light drive. With the new ships we've captured, we could build a fleet capable of reaching nearby stars within months." The leaders of Earth made their decision. Humanity would not merely defend itself, it would become the liberator of other oppressed worlds. As preparations began for humanity's first mission beyond the solar system, Grand Strategist Zultar sent a final message to the Supreme Council before his ship jumped to FTL speed, fleeing the human counterattack. "We did not just awaken a sleeping giant," he warned. "We awakened a sleeping predator, and now it has our scent." 6 months passed since humanity's first victory against the hegemony. Earth had changed. Cities were being rebuilt. The scars of war remained, but there was a new sense of purpose. Humanity was no longer alone in the universe, and no longer confined to one solar system. In what was once a sports stadium in Geneva, Ambassador Nicole Harper addressed representatives from a dozen alien species. Some appeared in person, others as holographic projections from distant worlds. "We did not ask for this war," she told them. "But together, we can end the hegemony's rule and build something better." The aliens, former slaves and subjects of the hegemony, listened carefully. Some had been fighting their oppressors for generations. Others had only recently found the courage to rebel after hearing of Earth's resistance. "Humans fight differently," said a tall, spindly being with skin like tree bark. "You showed us that the hegemony can be defeated." In space, a fleet unlike any Earth had seen before was taking shape. Human ships flew alongside vessels from 5 other species. Fleet Commander Kevin Phillips inspected the assembled forces from the bridge of the USS Intrepid, now rebuilt and enhanced with alien technology. "Status report," Phillips requested from his second-in-command. "All ships report ready," replied Lieutenant Martinez, now wearing the uniform of a senior officer. "The Raxian vessels have the fastest engines. The Volari ships have the strongest shields. Our ships carry the heaviest weapons." Phillips nodded with satisfaction. "And Dr. Barnes's new weapon?" "Installed on our lead vessels," Martinez confirmed. "If it works as designed, it will neutralize their main defense systems." Dr. Eric Barnes had built upon Dr. Carter's work, developing a new type of disruption field that could permanently disable hegemony shield technology. The weapon had never been tested in actual combat, but computer simulations showed promising results. The Coalition fleet departed Earth's solar system using reverse-engineered hegemony FTL drives. Their destination, the hegemony core worlds, the heart of the empire that had tried to conquer Earth. As the ships accelerated beyond light speed, Captain Wright, now serving as Phillips' advisor, reflected on how far humanity had come. Just a year ago, humans had never ventured beyond their own solar system. Now they led a multi-species alliance to the stars. Do you think we can win? Wright asked Phillips quietly. I think we have to, Phillips replied. If we don't stop them at their core worlds, they'll rebuild their fleets and return. Not just to Earth, but to every world that joined us. The journey took 3 weeks at maximum FTL speed. When the Coalition fleet arrived at the edge of the Hegemony home system, they found what they expected: massive defenses, hundreds of warships, and orbital platforms bristling with weapons. They're hailing us, Martinez reported. On the main screen appeared the face of Supreme Overlord Zanvos, ruler of the 7 hegemony species and hundreds of conquered worlds. His skin was deep purple with intricate patterns that pulsed with light. This is unexpected, Zanvos said calmly. Humans leading a fleet of our former subjects. You have traveled far to die. We've come to end your empire of conquest, Phillips replied. Surrender your control of subjugated worlds and there need be no more bloodshed. Zanvos laughed, a sound like breaking glass. You primitive species always misunderstand. The hegemony brings order to chaos, protection to the weak, purpose to the directionless. At the cost of freedom, Ambassador Harper said, stepping into view. We offer a different path. Cooperation without subjugation. Enough talk. Zanvos dismissed them with a wave of his 6-fingered hand. Your coalition is impressive but futile. The hegemony has ruled for 10,000 years. We will rule for 10,000 more. The transmission ended. Moments later, the hegemony fleet began to move. All ships battle formation, ordered Phillips. Remember the plan. Focus fire on their command vessels. The battle that followed was the largest in known galactic history. The hegemony had numbers and established positions. The coalition had surprise and desperation. Dr. Barnes's weapon was deployed in the first attack run. It worked even better than predicted. The disruptor waves washed over the hegemony's premier defense platforms, leaving them vulnerable to conventional weapons. First line of defenses breached, reported Martinez. Their ships are regrouping. The hegemony commanders had never faced a serious threat to their homeworlds. Their tactics were textbook, predictable, exactly what Phillips had counted on. The coalition forces executed complex maneuvers derived from ancient Earth military texts. Sun Tzu's Art of War, Clausewitz's On War. Battle strategies that the hegemony with its long history of easy conquests had never needed to develop. They're falling back to their inner defense line, Martinez noted after several hours of fighting. We've destroyed 30% of their fleet. And our losses? Asked Wright. 22%, she replied grimly. Still within acceptable parameters, but we can't maintain this exchange rate for long. The battle stretched into its second day. Both sides took heavy losses. 3 coalition species lost their flagships. A hegemony supercarrier was reduced to drifting debris. In the midst of the chaos, a small strike team led by Commander Ramsey boarded the hegemony's central command station. They fought their way to the main communication hub, where they uploaded a virus developed by Earth's best programmers and enhanced by alien allies. The virus spread through the hegemony network, displaying evidence of atrocities committed against subjugated worlds over thousands of years. The truth, long hidden from the common citizens of the hegemony homeworlds, was suddenly impossible to ignore. On the 3rd day of battle, something unexpected happened. A group of hegemony ships broke formation, not to attack but to stand down. Then another group, and another. What's happening? Phillips asked in disbelief. Incoming transmission, Martinez announced, from inside the hegemony capital city. The screen showed a different hegemony official, not Zanvos. I am Secondary Overlord Kaxnar, the alien said. We request a ceasefire. Many of our people have seen the evidence of our leaders' crimes and refuse to continue fighting. Ambassador Harper stepped forward. And Supreme Overlord Zanvos? Under confinement, replied Kaxnar. There is civil unrest on our worlds. The ceasefire was agreed to. Coalition forces entered the hegemony capital as peacekeepers, not conquerors. Ambassador Harper met with representatives from all 7 hegemony species. You could destroy us now, Kaxnar observed. Your coalition controls our defenses. Our fleets are scattered or surrendered. That's not why we came, Harper replied. We came to end an empire, not to start a new one. In the days that followed, a new galactic council was formed with representatives from all worlds, former conquerors and conquered alike. The hegemony's 10,000 years of domination ended, not with their extinction, but with their reformation. On the observation deck of the USS Intrepid, Captain Wright stood beside Ambassador Harper, looking down at the hegemony homeworld. "Do you think it will last?" Wright asked. "This peace?" Harper smiled slightly. "That's up to all of us now. But they've seen what happens when they underestimate humanity's fury. I don't think they'll make that mistake again."